Hi everyone, my name is Annika Fern. I'm the Student and Family Programs Coordinator at the Golden History Museum and Park. Thank you for joining me today as I take you on a little bit of a deep dive on our education program. Again, just a recap for why we're talking about all these different cities in Colorado. Our Building Colorado program is a game-based program where students in fourth grade classrooms are divided into 10 different Colorado cities. In these cities, they get to make economic decisions that decide the path of their city and Colorado as a whole as we move through a historical timeline. So looking at the map today, we're going north to Fort Collins and Fort Morgan to learn the fun facts that we share with our students. So sugar beets are grown with the sole purpose of being converted to white sugar. These are a crop that were first cultivated in Colorado around 1869. They became Colorado's first true cash crop and brought laborers from around the world, diversifying an economy that had relied on ranching and mining for decades. In 1888, Colorado A&M, the precursor to today's Colorado State University, conducted an experiment which determined that Colorado's soil and climate were ideal for growing sugar beets. The Great Western Sugar Company, founded by Charles Beettcher and partners, built processing plants in 20 Colorado cities, including Fort Morgan and Fort Collins. This company truly pioneered the sugar beet industry in northern Colorado, and this contributed to one of Colorado's largest population booms in the early 20th century. Workers came from all over Colorado, but the majority of workers were immigrants who came to plant, weed, harvest, and labor in these sugar beet fields. Looking specifically at Fort Collins, this had a major impact. The city's population grew from 3,000 residents in 1900 to more than 8,000 in 1910. Similar situations happened throughout Colorado's farming communities. The Fort Collins plant opened in 1904 and was situated behind today's New Belgium Brewery on the north side of town. This is where the city's street department is now located. The town's location, natural environment, and the city's irrigation system meant that this was an ideal location for sugar beet farming. They diverted water from the Cashlaputer River to irrigate the beet fields and later found that the waste products could be used as well. The discarded beet tops, beet pulp, and molasses made nutritious feed for livestock, so cattle and sheep industries grew and flourished because of this. The Great Western Sugar Company reported that the Fort Collins factory annually produced the equivalent of 10,000 100-pound bags of sugar and employed around 100 people continuously, increasing to over 400 during the busy season. Beets were very labor-intensive, but they generated more income from the farmers than any other crop. The factory paid almost $300,000 to local farmers in 1905, which increased to $500,000 by 1910. However, this factory was closed in 1955. The Fort Morgan factory, built in 1906, was originally a hard sell for the Fort Morgan community. The factory would increase the value of farmland, offer winter jobs, increase population, and potentially provide prosperity. However, many farmers didn't want to pay the cost of building additional reservoirs needed for successful crop production. The Bijou Irrigation Company agreed to provide water and land for the proposed factory, and because of this, minds began to change, and the effects of this industrial growth were almost immediate. Between 1906 and 1908, local populations increased by 2,500 people, and more than 200 new homes were built. Farmers were paid $3 million in cash for their 1906 crop, quickly proving that this was a great economic decision for this town. Property prices increased from $40 an acre to $200 an acre, and year-round employment was now available for once seasonal hired hands. Workplace culture was also new for factory workers. Great Western was the first to offer hot lunches in Fort Morgan, as well as free hot coffee to all workers throughout their shifts. The Fort Morgan factory is the only remaining and operative sugar beet processing plant in Colorado. Location is one of the primary factors that has kept this factory alive. It sits in the middle of beet growing territory. So students in the Fort Morgan and Fort Collins groups get to decide if they want to build sugar beet factories in their towns. This prompt usually brings up some really great conversations about the environment and pollution from the factories. It's always interesting to see students debate and weigh the potential economic benefits, while also thinking about the environmental impacts. Who knew talking about sugar would be so relevant for our fourth graders? Thanks again for joining me this week. We'll see you next Tuesday.